Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises. Honor and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Bashim Rakakadash. Divine to the apostles, bishops, elders, great millstone who will well and teach well. Shalom to all the sincere Akim pushing truth, holding faith throughout the four corners of the earth, as well as to the 1/3 scattered abroad, as well as the few sincere sisters of Aquafium listening, being obedient to the husband and home. I say Shalom. This little lesson I'm going to go into is going to be a quick, short lesson. Lord want to be edifying, just a particular experience that happened or whatever. And it just shows you, man, kind of going to Micah 2:10, that this is not our rest, man. Dealing with this situation, a relative, had told me, because she knows more about this, I'll just say this particular government system, particular system in the government, and she told me, well, yeah, this is this is how they do it. Obviously I'm listening, I'm like, this is a spiritual conversation. She was like, this is how they do it, and that the people who really, may need this or whatever, they usually the ones that's getting fucked over, and not getting this when they really need it or whatever, blah blah blah. And I'm like, man, as soon as she said that, because at first I was a little hot, a little mad or whatever, but then I thought to myself, even before that conversation, I'm like, hey, it's ain't our risk, man. Esau Edom, he does this type of shit to the people who really need it. And reminder of, you should go there, and enemy, roughly paraphrasing, for the one of all things. So when she said, I'm like, hey, man, we got to get out of here, man. People who really may need this particular thing or whatever. They don't get it, man. And that's who? That's Jake, man. Because we're at the fucking bottom of the totem pole, man. Yeah, you have starting these Edomites to feel it, but we've been feeling it, man, to maximum intensity. It's just the ceiling is gonna rise, man, because of what? Jacob's trouble. But we've been feeling it, man, at the bottom, going to the enemy of one of our things, man. Getting rejected when you really need it, man. The need it, as the scriptures talk about, man. But that's all because the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Who is that? The so-called white man, man. And obviously, it kind of remind me of these situations of Jake, man, always trying to save Esau Edom, man. Jake don't want to say nobody else, no other nation. Just when it comes to Esau Edom, you gotta give them salvation. How so? How come, man? When they're showing us who they really are each and every day, that this system was not made for us. It was made, against us, man. That's why we got to get out of here, man. We got to let Yahweh, hey, scripture say, it's time for you to work, roughly paraphrasing. It's time to Yahweh Shah to work, man. Because we under this system that's not built for us, man. So pressing us each and every day, man. But overall, even above that, what Yahweh Shah is in control, man. That's why the song said, Psalms 37, if I'm not mistaken. I've never seen a righteous forsaken nor his seed begging bread, man. So at the end of the day, Yahweh Shah, he got us anyway, man. First and foremost, you talking to myself, you just gotta trust in him, man. Keep having faith, man. But I guess that's a little background. I'm gonna hop right into it, Lord, and be able to find. This is Isaiah 10 in NLT. It says, I don't know why this thing up there. It says, what sorrow awaits the unjust judges and those who issue unfair laws. They deprive the poor of justice and deny the rights of the needy among the people. They prey on widows and take advantage of orphans. What will you do when I punish you and when I send disaster upon you from a distant land? them missiles, them ICBM nuclear warheads, man. From what, as the scriptures say, shot from the ends of the world, man. Shot from the eastern hemisphere or whatever, man. You know, Russia, Iran, Pakistan, NATO, NU, everybody's sending missiles on this goddamn place, man, the land of the north. You know, because it's this system, man, that they has, man. You know, you touching the apple of Yahweh Shem Shai's eye, man. He said it in the scriptures as well, man. You know, touching the heavenly Father's most precious things, and that's who. First and foremost, starting with who? The elect, man. You know. But as a whole, what the whole nation of Israel, man. You know. That's why I don't understand how Jake, you can be down for this system. You know, Jake finna celebrate Independence Day or whatever that shit called, July the 4th. You know, Jake wanna go out there and shoot the guns and America and put some on the grill and all that shit, family reunions or whatever, you know, Jake had that back in the world or whatever, but now we understand, like, nah, man, we ain't independence, man. We gotta go to this nigga for everything, man. And this nigga rejecting us, even when we know what? We the needed, man. We the ones that really need it, man. But you think Esau, you don't give a fuck about that shit? Nah, man. Esau laugh at our oppression, man. That's in the scriptures as well, man. During the siege, if I'm not mistaken, it talks about our enemies laughing. You know, having their hand, you know, in the siege, man, taking away all our goods, man. You know. But Yahweh Shem Shai, he's what? He's looking down at this sinful nation, man. What's that scripture? Let me get that. I actually get that. I think that might be the one I'm thinking about. Yup. Isaiah 19. I said 19. Isaiah 59 and 15. It says, I'm going to start at verse 14. It says, Our courts oppose the righteous, and justice is nowhere to be found. Truth stumbles in the streets, and honesty has been outlawed. Yes, truth is gone, and anyone who announces or renounces evil is attacked. The Lord Yahweh looked and was displeased to find there was no justice. And where is the greatest and prime example of no justice, man? Where is majority of Jake being attacked on all sides? That's in Babylon and Great, man. A sinful nation, man. Virgin daughter of Babylon, man. You know, shall the Arabian pinch tent there? Cause that's how displeased Yahweh Shem Shai is with this place, man. It's gonna be flat line, man. You ain't gonna, that line of confusion. You ain't gonna be able to tell each state and each city, man. Oh, this was my neighbor house. Nah, man, this shit about to be a goddamn sand, like beach sand. You know, you don't know what shit. You build a sand castle or whatever. Somebody are knocking down. Then what? You can't even, you flatten it out, whatever. You can't even like, this was a spot. Nah, you really don't even know. You know, this place about to be destroyed, man, because the oppression that they continually, put out there. I'm gonna get this last scripture. Fucking hot as a motherfucker out there. Sluggy. But it's very, very hot in the south. Everywhere on the East Coast, especially. Sirach 10, verse 1. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, so is his officer. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. It wasn't even a scripture that I wanted. But hey, man, it just shows what this judge, man, that so was Esau Edom, the so-called white man. He's not a wise judge, man. A wise judge wouldn't set up all these unfair as laws, all these wicked sodomite, as laws, man. You got a man, times two, getting it on or whatever with each other, man. That's what they allow this shit, man. They still allow that shit, man. And then people want to be MAGA, and Trump. Trump ain't outlaw that shit. Over there in Russia, if I'm not mistaken, they did. But over here in Babylon the Great, they ain't outlaw that shit. Because even though all this, like he's opposing the system, whatever, he's right there with them, man. He was in them same Epstein or whatever parties that all these other politicians was at, man. He support, I'll just say the small hats like no other, man. Why? Because it's all controlled, man. And ultimately controlled to oppress Jake, man. Israel, man. Especially the elect, man. Because that's who they really want to get. They really want to touch. But Yahweh Shemel Shai said if we be in his hand, then nobody can take us out of it. Roughly paraphrasing. But I just wanted to make that quick and short lesson. I ended off on Micah 2:10. I've been quoting it. I just ended off. It just shows you, man, we got to get out of here, man. When she said, well, yeah, it just shows you how messed up it is that people who really need it, they, which she don't know what they, but we know who they is, And Jake have it in their mind too, but Jake so Stockholm syndrome, man. All Jake life, man, been getting effed over by a so-called white person, man. But when it comes out to really say it and go against him, then what? Jake want to tuck their tail, man. That's in Genesis 49, man, on Judah, man. They want to tuck their tail, man, and the whole nation as well. But shit, you got the northern kingdom. I said Issachar, all the Ephraim and all of them, those certain tribes over there in Cali, as well as in that area, they going against the government, whatever, man. But now what Judah want to say, which is truthful as well, because you did have a lot of the northern kingdom was like Latinos for Trump or Mexicans for Trump or whatever. But still, though, when it comes to just us knowing the fact that we are oppressed, then what? Jake, he ain't do nothing like that to me. Esau Edom ain't do nothing, like that to me. So-called white people ain't do nothing like that to me when they still doing it, man. Still doing it even to this day, man. Jake want to bring up slavery. You still enslaved, man. You can't get into certain positions. I'll just do it on a miniature scale, like being in the plant industry. You really can't be no operation supervisor or no plant manager like that if you ain't licking, Esau Edom's boots or whatever like that, man. You don't really see a lot of Jakes up there, and even if right, and even if you have like a so-called black plant manager or Jake plant manager, he's not gonna be at the top like the owner of all these refinery and chemical plants and things of that nature. Why? Because this system is not set up for you to be like that. Here you got Esau Edom working. He a pipe fitter, welder, electrician in a plant or whatever he doing. Then you got a Jake that's over the whole thing. Fuck no, man. Them Edomites in that plant ain't gonna like that shit, man. But that's for any job industry, man. Because the system is not set up for Jake, man. It's set up for you to go, which ultimately is, is set up by Yahweh Shem Yahushai. To what? For you to go, as the scriptures say, to the enemy for the one of all things, man. We can't escape the curses, man. So for all you Jakes, that want to be in that, he ain't never do nothing to me, and all that. It's understandable because a lot of them did, know the kingdom. Dealing with, Issachar, all the Latin, the 10 tribes or whatever. They were what? They were saying, yeah, we're for Trump, Trump. But now when it comes down to the come down, you got Jake that want to be like, he didn't never do nothing towards so-called blacks or whatever. How, man? Now you got what? The Southern Kingdom about to get oppressed. You got 500,000 Haitians that's about to be deported. That's about to lose, their status or whatever, man. But that just shows you what? Micah 2:10, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you even with a sword of destruction. It's not our rest, man. It's not our rest. The scripture says, well, woe to them that go down to Egypt, man. Because their chariots are many. Keep trusting upon Esau, Edom, man. Especially Judah, because Northern Kingdom get it first, and Judah get it. Judah get it the worst, man. Look who all the tribes follow. We follow after Judah. All this, the degeneracy, they follow after Judah, and that's why, Jay gonna get it the worst, man, because you constantly wanna say, Esau Edom, so-called white man, he's not your oppressor. Like he doesn't say to say, but he's making an inside joke, that I own your ass. He's showing it every day, man. You can't get up to a certain position, nigga. You a worker. Go your ass right down to McDonald's, man. That's even so if they even hire your ass, man. We got a bag full of holes. One thing happened, now we gotta do this. You gotta act a certain way at the job. Put on your what's that dude name off of Boondocks? Tom face and voice, whatever, man. Why? Because what? We're under an unjust judge, man. That's that. I think that's in Psalms, if I'm not mistaken. Wicked ruler, something to that effect. So the people are mourning. We ain't rejoicing. Why we not rejoicing? Because we're not under a righteous ruler. We're under a wicked ruler, man. We under a ruler that he sets up so-called assistance when the people really, really need it, man. Which is who? The most, Jake. Motherfuckers tell you to go turn around, man. But that's why Yahweh Shem Yahushai, he's about to, utterly destroy this place, man. But with that, I hope it was edifying. I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, Shem Yahushai, divine to the apostles, bishops, elders, shalom to one to the scattered blood.